thank you very much for joining us. We are coming to you from Saboti constituency, where a momentous occasion is happening today, and I've caught up with the area member of parliament, Honorable Caleb Amisi. Mheshimiwa Amisi is a sponsor of a bill that is said to be very controversial, that touches on the social cushioning of the bulging Kenyan youth population. Mheshimiwa, thank you for speaking to us. What is this bill all about that you're sponsoring to parliament, in parliament, and what is it called?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak to the nation. Right. First of all, youth population bulge, yes, is a very common phenomenon in not only in Kenya but in most African countries, yes, and by extension the whole world. Right. So a country like ours can choose to either tap into the youth population bulge that is ever increasing every day, mm-hmm, or it can be a menace to the whole country. So for us not to wait for it to be a menace, I have come up with a bill, and this bill is going to cushion the ever growing population of this country against social disorder and against social vices, and it is not news to the nation that we are grappling with a population that is idle, disgruntled, hopeless. They have no direction. They don't know what the future holds for them. The people are learned, people are trained in various fields. They are idle at home, and they are joining various criminal gangs. You can see Al-Shabaab have find a fertile place in this country to recruit their force, and because it's basically because of an idle, learned population that have nothing to do, and therefore becomes a menace to the whole nation. This bill is going to compel the government of Kenya to look into youth issues. So I've taken up the bull by its own. I'm going to compel the government through a bill I've written to the Speaker, and this is basically going to establish a youth social assistance fund. And the purpose of this fund is to give assistance in terms of monetary value, monetary assistance to any unemployed young person who is educated, is learned. And when you are talking about a youth, you are talking about a youth who is between 18 years to 35 years. That is the constitutional requirement or threshold of a youthful person. So this is the bill that is going to compel the government to give any of this category of young people who are idle there stipend per month, so that they get something at the end of the month, can help them in maybe looking for jobs, can help them in establishing small businesses. It can help them, some say even if I'm able to pay rent, the rest I can, fed for myself. And it's going to kill all these criminal gangs that that are skyrocketing everywhere. But
Mheshimiwa, where is the money going to come from? Our economy appears to be struggling.
I understand. I understand. And this is where I'm going to get the money from. One, it is upon incumbent. It is an act that was established. It is called a Social Assistance Act that was established by the very parliament I'm a member to engage and try to help the disadvantaged members of our society. And we have the elderly. Yes. There is money that is going to the elderly. Nobody is complaining that where this money comes from. Now, we are using so much resources in police deployment across the country. You've seen what has happened in Kapedo. Yes. We've lost even police forces. We've lost so much money as a country in terms of funding police force. We've lost so much in funding police force to fight criminal gangs. Just here at my neighbor, Mount Elgon, which is my neighbor, they're actually spiraling towards my constituents. Basically, the reason is these are idle youths who have been given small stipend here and there by, ill-thinking Kenyans, and they use them to do criminal activity in this country. Then we come here, dish a lot of money to the police force to fight the same Kenyans who are supposed to build this nation. So we are saying the money that we use so much in the police force to find criminal gangs in this country, and there are many, from Al-Shabaab to Mungiki to Chinkororo by Matiang'i, all those criminal gangs that are all over. And instead of using that money, can we give to the youth so that they are paying back to the economy? They are going to do businesses. They are going to pay rates there. The government is going to get revenue in terms of taxes. It's going back to the government. They are going to do businesses. They are going to defend this country, because whenever somebody is talking about the image of a country, the youth are there to defend the country. Any politician who will one day use the youth population that are idle to cause chaos, they are there. You've seen what happened, that we have been thrown tear gas left, right, center. The money that was used to throw this idle youth tear gas, we are using the same money to give them. So the money is there, but the priorities of the government are wrong. That's what we are saying. Yeah.
Maybe now, Mheshimiwa, on to what you're launching today. How is it, the website, how is it going to operate, and how is it linked to all this scenario of trying to put youth on the map and link them up with jobs?
Yes, now the website I'm creating today, which we are launching just in a couple of minutes from now at Tuwani Secondary, and I expect the whole Kenyans should be watching live as we unveil the unprecedented launch of a website that has never happened in this country. And the purpose of the website basically is to link my constituents with the rest of the world in terms of job seeking, in terms of scholarship opportunities, yes, in terms of the projects that as a member of parliament intend to do for my constituents. They'll all be showcased in the website. In terms of opportunities, we are talking about Huduma Center, being connected to Huduma Center. We are talking about other government facilities like good conduct. People can download good conduct from that website and linking with various institutions of governance. So we are talking of a website that is going to link my constituents to the whole world. Now, if a young person is sitting in Saboti constituents and one day he walks up and say, where can I get a job? The first thing that comes in his mind is, let me check in Saboti website what they have posted in. And we are taking the companies as well, that all companies that have job opportunities are going to post in that particular website. Right. So that someone somewhere in the interior of my constituents is sitting wondering, yes, I want a job, but where do I get it? Yeah. Are you getting? So he will not walk here and come to Nairobi and start looking, where is Safaricom, where can I get? Before even he comes to Nairobi, he'll have seen there is a job opportunity through my website. Right. And he'll come there knowing that he's actually going to apply. So it's a website that is going to relieve many struggling young person from lack of knowledge. They say people perish because of lack of knowledge. That is biblical. And we don't want our people in Saboti to perish because of lack of knowledge on existing opportunities. So that's why we are saying this is a milestone in the history of Saboti, in the history of this country, in the history of Africa. Something is happening that has never happened before.
Well, maybe lastly, Mheshimiwa, just the mood on the ground and your reaction to the State of the Nation address by Uhuru Kenyatta. That is the day before yesterday. What is your reaction and the reception of your people to this newfound partnership and upward looking towards building our nation?
I can say it's very superb. The people here, especially in Trans Nzoia, people in Saboti, my constituency, the entire Rift Valley, the entire Western, people are happy. We are experiencing a political phenomenon that has ever happened in this country. We are seeing the Right Honorable, being a statesman enough. And for your information, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga is not just a statement in this handshake. He has done that before. Right. Remember, during the Kibaki's time, yes, he was actually supposed to take over leadership, but he said, for the sake of my people, I leave it, and I'm ready to serve in any position you give me. Right. That is statement that no any other leader in the history of mankind has ever exercised. So we are saying kudos to the leader, the enigma, Jacom, for showing that he has done before and is ready to do it to save the country. And the people have accepted the handshake. We are telling the noisemakers, you hear people making noise around the handshake. And you heard even the president saying that, yes, we have done the handshake, but there are people within and without who are not very happy with our progress as a nation and what we've done. And we are saying all the agents of doom are going to fail terribly, because when the country has come together and everybody is moving in one direction, it is just incumbent upon any reasonable leader to also follow suit and they start building the country. We forget what has passed. Some of us have also endured. You remember, I was almost at the verge of dying when a tear gas was thrown inside right in my car. I was breaking news on CNN. because of a tear gas. I survived the depths of a tear gas in the history of mankind. Nobody has ever survived such magnitude of tear gas in the history of mankind. So I was in the center of the demonstration against injustice, electoral injustice, and you saw what happened to me. I was hospitalized at Nairobi Hospital for 2 weeks. I could not breathe. Of course, most people said go sue the government, but I kept it and said let's move the nation together.
Right.
Yeah. So we are at the biggest. Some of us have gone through the worst in terms of what has happened in our country, but we are still and they are recognizing the handshake. In the midst of all what we have gone through, we are still saying, let's put our country together. There is no people who have suffered like us, especially me in particular, and those who are in the center of this struggle. And we are here saying we embrace the handshake and we want to move together as a country.
Just in a nutshell, in terms of what is happening today about this website and Mheshimiwa's bill, Mheshimiwa Caleb Amisi's bill to compel government to provide a stipend for the young people. What are your views around that?
Yes, I just want to agree with Mheshimiwa Caleb for the vision that he has and the bill that he has brought before the parliament. I'm going to support it because for our young men. And you can see it is true, our young men are really suffering, especially in Trans Nzoia here. And I should concur with Caleb so that we can have a website that will help our young men in Trans Nzoia County.
And in terms of the political atmosphere in the country, we experienced some turmoil during the electioneering period. Then there was the handshake. What is your position on that?
Yeah, I just want to agree with the handshake because it is bringing harmony in our country, and especially in Trans Nzoia County because it is a cosmopolitan area whereby we experienced a lot of issues when we were running for our several seats in Trans Nzoia County. I agree with it so that we can bring all the Kenyans together so that we can focus on the development and to also look for the jobs of our young men and ladies in this country of ours.
Maybe lastly, Mheshimiwa, President Uhuru Kenyatta did mention in Moranga during the burial service of a former member of parliament for Kiharu and second liberation hero Kenneth Matiba, that some people within NASA, some people within Jubilee were not very happy with the handshake. I don't know, what is the position around that?
Let me say so. You saw this is a democratic country whereby everybody should have his own views, but when it comes to the development of this country, we must come together as one people. Yeah. And also what maybe my colleagues are asking, some of them are asking, what is the handshake for? But according to me, I know it is bringing harmony and sanity in our country. Me, I support it, but I can hear others saying that we need to create certain position, what. But for me, right now, I can say like account women MP. Now I'm only given like 15 million for the whole county, which is not enough, because when I tell people that this is what I've been given, they expect me to do a lot for them. But simply because I don't have enough resources, yes, I support the handshake so that they can bring the development down to the people here and the devolution in our country. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Very well put there. That is the woman rep for Trans Nzoia County. Just putting it very well into perspective. We are in a Saboti constituency in Trans Nzoia County where Honorable Caleb Amisi has just made his sentiments very clear about this proposed bill to compel government to give stipend to young Kenyans who he feels are vulnerable, and there's no other way out of putting them in a position where they can rely on themselves apart from having this stipend. Particularly today was a launch of a website that also is supposed to link the people of Trans Nzoia County to particular jobs around the country and around the world. This is a first of its kind, and only time will tell how it will pan out and perhaps if it can be replicated across the country. From Saboti constituency in Trans Nzoia County, I am Maurice Ocheng.